Hello, we are back on our quest to find out if we could beat Far Cry Blood Dragon with no guns. Let's get started. I approached the entrance to the lab, but not before spotting some enemies. I easily blew these two guys up and killed some more to secure a safe passage to the entrance. I attempted my first long distance relationship and failed miserably, alerting the soldiers of my existence. I almost get killed by this heavy guy and a bunch of others. Too bad he isn't immune to grenades, otherwise I would have died. Destroying the brain cage prototypes is easy enough, but the enemies aren't too much of a threat. But then I realized I've run out of arrows. Thankfully, my trusty knife is still on hand. I reached a second prototype and, no surprise, I knifed the big guys without much trouble. I tossed a grenade to clear out some more enemies, but oops, I accidentally destroyed the brain cage instead. I knifed the last prototype and decided to make a run for it to open the silo doors. On the catwalk, I get ambushed. A large group of enemies is trying to kill me, and for a second I think it's game over, but luckily I'm practically invincible at this point. Now, here comes the real question. This mission forces me to use a flamethrower. Yes, I know it's not technically a gun, but it's still a weapon, but I don't consider it a gun. But with the eggs, I tried shooting them, knifing them, and even grenades. They won't burn unless I use the flamethrower. It's time to burn some eggs and see what happens. As soon as I start, the dragons make their way to me. My heart is racing as I scramble to come up with a plan. I decided to lure them away, then to use the middle intersection to reach the eggs, then run away and rinse and repeat. After I'm done that, Sloan initiates the self-destruct sequence and I need to call the elevator to make my escape. But that goddamn blood dragon is here to stop me. Thinking I need to kill it by any means possible, I try and use explosives to hopefully whittle its health down. But I got too cocky and made a run for it to the jeep. I hopped in and got obliterated. Time for me to do that all again. I get closer to killing the dragon, formulating strategies that I'll have to use later on to save my life. I lure him away to at least make it to the jeep without being noticed. Which works, but I'm now stuck facing a constant barrage of gunfire, and I'm stuck not being able to defend myself. I got so close to death on multiple occasions. This sequence was a breeze compared to the tournament that's coming up. In this mission, we're tasked with stealing a hang glider, which I wish this game used a lot more of, but it's only used in this one mission. Flying to the mission marker, not being able to defend myself is stressful. I'm not even able to heal myself, and the controls for the glider aren't the greatest. On many occasions, I felt I was losing altitude and was going to fail, but luckily, I made it out alive. We stock up on some heals and hand grenades for our oncoming onslaught, and this time managed to disable all knobs for once, so now reinforcements won't be coming. I open the door to the lab and make my way to the entrance and find myself having to jump down the shaft. Our objective is to locate Dr. Carlyle.
Dr. Carlyle runs the project that aerosolizes the blood for the Red Spear rockets.
I head into a room and immediately shoot these two soldiers before locating some more. I actually managed to clear the room easily with no issue. I initiate a hacking sequence, which means I have to stick around and ward off oncoming enemies, but we do get supplied with some mines and C4 to make it easy. I initiated assault with varying degrees of success, but not before I came across a massive group of enemies towards the exit. I gave up trying to kill them and just run past them, almost dying to a pyro. Now, the second hardest part of the run. We ascended the gravity elevator and we are forced to kill two blood dragons. This is tough. I throw a cyber heart to lure one, then use C4 to do some damage, but I need to keep up the assault and hope I won't mess this up. I resort to using grenades. Though they don't do much damage and need perfect timing, they do the job getting its health down a little bit. It's pretty much a game of chicken. I can't afford to wait around and let these dragons roam for too long. I need to catch them off guard and blow them up. I place some more mines down, but I accidentally trigger an explosion that almost kills me. I can't afford mistakes like that. Well, except for when I decide to try and knife the dragon to death. After a while, I manage to get the dragons down to low health. I find a stash of explosive, use them, and finally manage to kill one of the blood dragons. I finish off the second one right after that. With the dragons dead, I make a run for it and successfully complete the mission. With 2 missions left, we're forced to tackle the hardest one of all. But for those who haven't played this game, this mission requires us to enter an arena and kill waves of enemies using only weapons provided. And guess what weapon I don't allow you to use? That's right, the goddamn bow. I go towards the undead and realize the key to beating them this easily is to chain the takedowns. I got nervous because the knife isn't as effective in close quarters combat and the enemies are all clustered together, almost beating me to death, so I try to be more strategic and pick my moments carefully. To show you how hard this really was, I'll show more gameplay footage with less commentary to highlight just how long this took. As you can see, the trials are just a lot of nothing and waiting around for the right moments to get one kill at a time. Luckily, I reached the second trial. I've died a few times during this trial, but I still stick to my strategy. My takedown strategy pays off. I'm able to kill almost all the enemies, though I still have to stop occasionally to heal. And as a reward, we're gifted with the Kill Star, a weapon so powerful that it has to drain your health with each shot, practically using your health as ammo. What's good about the Kill Star is now the game practically hands us the win. There's no enemy, no dragon, no god, no being in existence that can get in our way. I can melt everything in my way with ease. But the good comes with a little slight sense of anxiety. We're granted access to ride our very own dragon, with what the game calls hydraulically powered Terra 4000 cannon and titanium trauma plates, which it's basically a laser cannon. I had feared that I'd be vulnerable against the enemies, but turns out you don't even take damage at all. You're not even forced to shoot anything, which is kind of pointless, adding this ending in, if it's essentially like a goddamn cutscene. Anyway, we would have found out that we're technically a clone of Sloan, but I got sick of the cutscenes and skipped this one. Anyway, that concludes this entire run. It is definitely possible to beat Far Cry Blood Dragon without firing a single gun. Don't forget to leave a like and comment down below. Comment what runs you would like me to do and see what is able to be done in a challenge run. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.